All right, this week we're really going to be focusing on close reading tips and strategies. Really looking at the right-hand column first. We're going to be doing this with a text called The Man in the Well. So I'm going to be going back and forth between this text and between our close reading strategies. The first one is we're going to skim and scan for titles, subtitles, pictures, and graphics. So again, if you remember from our ed video from last week, one of the things that we might do is take this title and we might turn it into a question. Like, for example, we might say, who is the man in the well? And then we also kind of skim and scan. There's just obviously a well here. I don't really have any other titles, so that's all that we have. So the next one is asking yourself if it is fiction or it is nonfiction. So again, going back to our story, I'm skimming and scanning, and I can already tell that it is a fiction story because here we have that dialogue, right? And one way that we can tell dialogue is we can tell that there are these quotes here. So dialogue is something you're going to mostly find in fictional stories. Plus, it doesn't have a lot of titles and subtitles. So now that I know that, I'm also going to be looking for, well, I know it's not nonfiction, so I'm not looking for a main claim. I'm not looking for a main idea. So one thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going down here. I'm looking for a theme of fiction. When I'm looking for a theme, I'm looking for what was the problem that the character had, right? So maybe for that one, I like to use the color red. Ooh, might be a little bit too dark. And then you're trying to think about how did the character solve it? Because a lot of times when you realize how the character solved a problem, then you're also going to look for a lesson that they learned from it. And that lesson generally can be the overall theme of the story. Also, we see questions like what was revealed in the dialogue. Sometimes we can find character traits. I'm going to add that here. We can find character traits are often revealed. It tells us what those characters were like with the dialogue. The other thing that we're going to look at is we're going to see how it is structured. So we know that it's a narrative, but is it description? Is it sequence? Is it cause and effect? Is it comparing and contrasting something? Is it a problem and a solution? Also, we really want to look for, is the text general or specific? And we really also want to look at kind of those connotations or those word choices. Also, when you're skimming and scanning, you're looking for those repeated words and phrases. So again, I'm going to go back. Sorry, here we go. And I'm just going to skim and scan today. So here I might notice that it's the word I. So I already know that my, come on, I thought I could. Oh, I have to kind of click it, I think. All right. Well, maybe I can click a new one and do my comment there. Well, for some reason, it's not really working.
Jennifer Nadeo, if you're still in the building, please call the office or dial 6545.
So I equals first person point of view. Okay. So if I look at first person, I look over here, Ira is our main character. Okay. So I skim and scan and I kind of see some of that. We saw some dialogue down here, and one of the things that really helped us when we did our common assessment in Miss Angel's class last week is highlighting dialogue. So In this case, I don't know if I really have two different colors that I can highlight, so I think I'll just highlight every other text. So here, I'm gonna highlight this one. Now this one is he must have known, so he. So, let's keep going. Anytime it says he or the man, I'm gonna highlight it. That way, when I'm going back to read it, it'll make it a lot easier for me to understand who is actually telling something. Here I see the word he again. So I'm thinking that the other ones are somebody else speaking. Again, oh, here's that little but word. I always love the word but. Instead, he told us to go again. Okay. So I'm skimming and scanning. Have they gone for help? Okay. So even just skimming and scanning, I'm realizing that someone is in trouble and needs help. Sorry, what does this have to do with the well? Okay, so here's the one he said. He cleared his throat. Do you think it will rain? Okay. So I'm looking for quotes, but it says maybe he's asleep, so that's somebody else speaking, so I'm not going to highlight it. I'm not sure if this was him or not. He asked us, here we go. When are they coming, did your parents say? Okay, so obviously it's taking a while to get help. Okay, all right.
Mr. Edwards, if you're still in the building, you dial 905.
This is what happens when you don't have a professional studio here. You're just gonna have to hear people making announcements. All right, are they on their way? So this is kind of probably not very good. So this was somebody else. I'm thinking that this is, we didn't know what to call him, so that's them asking him. Skimming and scanning for that dialogue, really. He called up to us. Are they coming now? It's like, man, people still aren't helping. People still haven't helped. Interesting. Okay. And now he had one of her names. She said, so that's not him. So skimming and scanning. The man and he. Okay, something about he's worried about it raining. I wonder why. Oops, let me. His highlighting doesn't really want to. Whoa! Is there a way to undo that? Oh no. Edit undo. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to highlight these two lines and we'll just call it a day. Okay. Why worry about rain? All right. Okay. This is he asked again. Oh, here we go. So he is speaking here. We could hear him shouting for a while. We were afraid someone might hear. I thought toward the end maybe he said he was sorry. So a lot of this kind of sounds negative. So this story sounds negative. We'll see if we're right or not as we read later. But today we're just skimming and scanning. I haven't really seen any words that I don't know yet. I'm still seeing the voice of the man. Are they on their way now? He's really stuck in there for a long time. Come on. Stuck for a long time. Okay. Aaron, he pronounced. Okay. So some other character's name is Aaron. Okay, I'm skimming and scanning for that dialogue again. Grace called down to him. Okay, so we have another one, Aaron. We have Grace. Okay, skimming and scanning. There's that word, Aaron, again. We have some Wendy. So it sounds like we have a bunch of people, but the man in the well answered. Okay, but we don't know what he answered yet. All right, I'm noticing there are vocabulary words down here, so I probably don't have to look up a bunch because they already give me the vocabulary words. So if I'm struggling, the definition's here already. No, said the man. No, no. No, no. Actually, I'm going to go back and undo it because I accidentally highlighted this one. So, no, no. No, no. All right. So it looks like they're asking him questions. Skimming and scanning. I don't really... Okay. At last, the man in the well said, all right, author, what do you think I look like? Okay, so, okay, I think I'm getting kind of like a hint. I'm thinking about, okay. So thinking about the title, I think the story is about a man who is in a well and some people are trying to help that, but he's stuck at the bottom. That's why they don't know what he looks like or who he is. Now, I did see something about no Noah before, so maybe they were trying to figure out his name or something. Not sure why he wouldn't say his name or anything like that. This looks interesting. He said, why didn't you tell anyone? And he coughed, didn't you want to tell anyone? Perhaps he heard hesitation in our breasts, but he wasn't going to help us now. This sounds pretty bad. This sounds pretty bad. Like, maybe the people decided not to help. I wonder why. So when I read tomorrow more in detail, I'm gonna look for that, like maybe why they didn't wanna. And sometimes I like to read the end a little bit because that gives you lots of information. So I'm just gonna highlight it even though it is in dialogue. That night it rained and I listened to the rain on the roof and my mother sobbing. Oh, sobbing's a negative connotation until I fell asleep. After that, we didn't play by the well even more. So, something not good must have happened. Must have happened to the man in the well. And the text evidence, I have that my mother was sobbing. So, did the mom know the man in the well? And were these children because they had a mother. So when I read more in depth tomorrow, these might be the questions that I ask myself. In addition, there was skimming and scanning for the text dependent questions. So the main theme. So as I was reading that, thinking about how the characters solved the problem, did they get him out of the well? If not, what does that say? So that will help me find the theme tomorrow when I'm reading. The narrator's point of view, so we saw it was first person point of view, influence how the events are described. Well, here's something that I do know. Even just from skimming and scanning, I know there are 3 or more points of view. So there was the narrator, which was first person, and I think he was trying to help the man in the well. Then there was a man in a well, so he was the person who was stuck or was in trouble. And then there were other characters, but I'm not sure what part they played, so I'll look for that tomorrow. Okay. How did they respond to? So one thing that I might need to look up is I might need to look up initial if I don't know that. So I could probably go to Google and look up define INIT initial. Existing or occurring at the beginning. Okay. So this one is INIT initial equals at the beginning of the story. So how did the children respond to the man at the beginning of the story? Oh, so were they going to help at the beginning? I guess is what I'm going to look for tomorrow. Okay. And then which supports the answer. So it'll either be yes or no. So we'll look for that text evidence. Relationship. So we did realize that there was like some relationships. So really, one of the things that I'm really going to be looking for tomorrow when I start reading this more in depth is I'm going to be, here, can I do this? Who is the man in the well? So I'm going to be looking for theme. I'm going to be looking for relationships that get explained through the dialogue. So that's all we're going to do today is just kind of skim and scan it. Tomorrow we'll read it in detail and we'll actually apply the reading strategies. If you have time today, you can actually begin the reading. But if not, I will see you tomorrow.